I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Stow-Munroe Falls Board of Education, a special meeting on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
East Jenkins.
Here.
Sheehan.
Here.
Suedonik.
Here.
Wind.
Here.
Benzel.
Here. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Questions or comments about the agenda? Roll call, please.
East Jenkins.
Aye.
Sheehan.
Aye.
Suedonik.
Aye.
Wind.
Aye.
Benzel.
Aye. At this time in our agenda, we invite citizens to share their concerns about items on today's agenda that will be voted on. Comments on non-agenda items, well, no, never mind that. All comments must be directed to the entire board and be no longer than 3 minutes. We will listen to and consider your remarks, but there will be no conversation aside from clarifying question. If you are seeking a direct response or further information, we ask that you submit your request in writing. Please begin your remarks with your first and last name.
Hello, my name is Heather Galliato, and I have some questions that I just wanted to ask. First, why, with all of the crap that is going on with the board not being stable, and the lawsuit that has been brought against the district, which one of the candidates is currently at, why are we pushing to hire a superintendent right now? KP is doing just fine. The community backs her, the staff backs her, so why are we pushing it with all of the uncertainty, not only with the board, but with the lawsuit? Title IX lawsuit, which is about sexual abuse with children. Enough said. Is it true that that candidate wants to change mascot from the bulldog? Is it true that one of the candidates wants to bring her own PR team? And I have numbers that I looked up for Cleveland Heights and Stowe. Graduation rate, 86 versus 94. Star rating, 1 versus 4. OST scores, which everybody wants to say is a basis. For math, reading, and science, the OST average is 40%, 60%, 60%. Cleveland Heights, 12%, 50%, 26%. Stowe, 46%, 71%, 67%. Teacher to class ratio, 15-1 up north, 20-1 here. National average, 17-1. Amount of money spent per pupil. Up north, over 15K, plus they have extra teachers. Stowe, just under 11K per pupil. This district, this BOE, signed a contract costing the community over $200,000, nearly $200,000. For what position was that again? And also, we did just receive a do better letter, so that it confuses me. Is it true that one of the board members sitting in front of me is going to resign after the vote tonight? Why? Why is Casey Weinstein so interested in our school district? Is it true that KP's leadership has been questioned? The disgust and embarrassment that has been questioned on the community and fellow staff. Of course it is. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charlotte Derrick. I live at 2919 Windsor Court here in Stowe. I wanted to start off because I happened to look up the mission statement for the Stow-Munroe Falls School Board. And the mission statement says, our mission is to provide a 21st century education, empowering each learner to be a self-motivated, successful citizen in a global society. And that means each learner, all students. And the core beliefs are the purpose of schooling is to ensure that each child, regardless of background, learns to think, reason, and use her or his mind well. The school district is organized to encourage children to use knowledge to solve problems rather than passively absorb knowledge to be used at some other time. District level staff supports initiatives from the school boards buildings that are designed to produce better results for students. Teachers are viewed as leaders. Their primary job is to engage students in significant activity that results in learning. And one of the critical jobs of the superintendent is to develop a vision of the future and to initiate action toward that vision. And I just like to add that all of this was going on about the horrible things that I've heard about the school board members, and I thank you for choosing to volunteer your time because obviously you really care about the students and you want to follow the mission statement for all students. And I would suggest that people should be more concerned about the voucher system and how much of our money is going to private schools that are not going to have to accept children, and they can pick and choose. So where does that leave the children that need to be well taken care of? And I trust you because we elected you to make the decision. And I know it isn't just, you've put a lot of due diligence, you've studied it and done it, and you have a good reason why. And people should just abide by that. And maybe let's be concerned about other issues like for instance, Akron had to lay off teachers. So, and now we hear about the teachers' retirement fund is being affected because there's other issues that we should really be concerned, which is going to provide challenges to all of you school board members and the superintendent.
I feel like my heart's beating out of my chest, not because I'm nervous, but because I speak from the heart right now. My name's Jamie DiLorenzo. I'm a resident and teacher in Stowe. My son graduated last year and my daughter will be a senior next year. Our staff now realizes that we spoke up late in the game. We thought that our attendance at the community forum, where both candidates were present and our feedback given at that time was enough. We should have done more. We can own that mistake on our part, and the assumptions that we made were a mistake. Mistakes are highlighted and celebrated in my classroom. I felt very supported as a teacher when I sat across the table from Ms. Benzel when we were negotiating one of our contracts. And I also felt very supported when I had both of Dr. Wynn's students in my classroom. And for that, I thank you both. I hope that you will continue to support us and trust our staff. We want to continue to support and trust our board. I too believe that great leaders lead others where they ought to go. I am a great leader in my classroom, and I stand united with other great leaders on our staff, and I'm very proud to work with all of them every single day. I will continue to strive to be a better leader, hopefully under the great leadership of Mrs. Pro. According to a recent survey by the National Education Association, 55% of educators are considering leaving this profession sooner than planned because of the workload and challenges we face every day. Mrs. Pro knows those challenges we face in our district. She hears us. She knows us by our first names. She makes difficult decisions that we respect. I do want to thank all of you and your roles on the board. I imagine it has been very difficult lately. and I have never supported those that are unkind or attacking when sharing their opinions. We are in the season of exciting graduation parties, and it has been nice to be able to talk to our community members in our district. As a staff member, I've always tried to listen to community members and support the decisions made by our district. I hope that I can continue to support your decision that you are going to soon be making here tonight. In closing, I urge you to imagine our opening day next year. Imagine Mrs. Pro as our leader. Imagine the excitement the staff will
Time
bring,
is up.
knowing that our board trusted us as great leaders that we are, and imagine how we can rebuild our trust in the board. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeff Ladner. I am an 8th grade language arts teacher at Kimpton. I've come here this evening, first of all, to share just some personal experiences that I've had with Christy Pro. To me, you have a candidate that has cultivated positive relationships amongst many members of the community, teaching staff, certified, classified. And I think that for me personally, I want to go back to last September when I had open heart surgery. As a result of that, I got back into the gym in December and January. I don't know how many times I would see Christy at the gym, and every time that she would see me, she would first of all ask me how I was doing. And as assistant superintendent, interim superintendent, for her to be that engaged and that knowledgeable about what one of your staff members is going through, to me, that meant a lot. And I really feel like I'm not the exception in this case, I'm the norm. And I really think that is a critical asset. It goes far beyond a resume. And so for that, I wanted to highlight that. The second thing is on May the 1st, I saw Christy Pro at the gym again and mentioned to her, it was on a Wednesday, that we were having a May Day run at Kimpton on that Friday. And wouldn't you know, on that Friday, Christy Pro was at that May Day run. She is super engaged in what is going on in every building, every day. The last thing I want to really emphasize, I was on the facility committee. Some of you were on that facility committee. I was blown away at how decisive her leadership was as she took over that lead role from January through essentially through April and through the community engagement activities that we had. She did nothing but grow in that role, showed great leadership. And to me, those three things tell me that she is right for our district and she has earned the title of superintendent. Thank you very much.
My name is John Sigmund, and as you can see, there's a lot of people here because they're starting to wake up to what is going on with this school board and with the schools. And it's not really going to matter what I say because your decision has probably already been made. You guys had a meeting with the candidates last night, and we couldn't hear the candidates to decide for ourselves based on what they were saying. So you guys are going to make the decision. But we already know what the decision will be because there's an agenda going on, and there's an agenda to destroy the schools and destroy the kids, which has been going on, and the schools have gone downhill for the last 5-10 years. And we really need to turn that around. And I think everybody here is going to have to make it a point that this November we speak up loudly and change this school board, except for Mike Sauce.
Hi, I'm Lauren Carmichael. I've been a resident of Stow for 40 years. I have two sons that graduated through the schools when they were excellent with distinction. The last one is 2010. And then we hired a new superintendent and they went like this to the ground. And so, so what I want to say is I now have a child going through the system again, and I am appalled. I mean, we have Copley Fairlawn where she's coming from, which is excellent with distinction. Maybe they've gone down, I don't know, but we are in the middle of the state where we were 20th, and that is appalling. That's disgusting. And so I'm listening and reading, and if the school teachers are all saying pro, I went to a meeting about getting new schools. Obviously, we need new schools. They're terrible. They're horrible. And so I wanted to hear what they had to say. And I made a comment. Mrs. Pro came to me and said, I'd like to hear your opinions. She invited me to the office. And what she said, she was jazzed. She was excited. There was, in her eye was a spark. I've never seen that in any superintendent or teachers anymore. There has not been a spark in any of these people. The spark I saw in her, I was amazed. I was blown away. And I said to my husband, I said, why don't they make her superintendent? Why is she an interim? If all these teachers are saying how great she is, hire her, try it. You know what? It's better than paying an extra $30,000 for someone who really has failed. And it's better than keeping a superintendent for some reason that we don't need. That's my take, and that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Christopher. I'm a resident and a teacher in the district. Last week, union leadership met with Board of Education President Nancy Binzel and Board of Education member Carrie Suadolnik. In that meeting, Nancy Binzel made the comment that she realized why the teachers are pro-pro. It is because we finally have a leader we can trust. I am here to tell everyone that is 100% true. Not only can we trust Christy Pro, we know that she genuinely cares for us, both as people and as professionals. I want to tell you more about how much Christy Pro truly cares about her staff. In 2019, photography teacher Steve Pierce passed away. My part of the alphabet was on Christy's list to call and inform. When she told me the news, I immediately lost it as Steve was a good friend. Christy did not try to rush me off the phone so she can make the next call. Instead, she stayed on the phone with me to make sure I was going to be okay. During our conversation, I mentioned that I was out of town. Christy offered to make a 12-hour round-trip drive just to ensure that I was able to make it home safely in my time of grief. Another example to demonstrate how much Christy cares was this past August. Christy was at the high school for Freshman Welcome Day. As the coordinator of that event, I spend much of the day running around the high school like a chicken with my head cut off. But Christy made a point to stop me so that she could tell me how wonderful she thought the event was. She then realized that I did not look well and asked if I was okay. I explained that I had been to the doctor the day before and had been diagnosed with pneumonia. Christy reached out several times after that day to follow up with me regarding my health. Knowing how stressful the beginning of the school year can be, she wanted to ensure I was prioritizing my health in order to make a full recovery. We are humans to Christy, not just teachers, and she cares for us as a person, not just a professional. Furthermore, I want to address the unique opportunity we have to bring leadership with a different perspective. Christy Pro took a different path than most superintendents, as she has a background in psychology and special education. With her expertise in psychology, Christy will bring a wealth of knowledge to the district in regards to helping students in all aspects of mental health. Additionally, more and more students are qualifying for special services, some because of mental health issues. And Christy is an expert in that area as well due to her former role as Director of Special Services. While her path to becoming a superintendent may not be typical, her background and areas of expertise will be a huge asset to our district. In conclusion, I am pro because Christy Pro is a leader who genuinely cares. Christy Pro cares about the whole student as well as the entire staff of our district, both as professionals and humans. You, as the members of the Board of Education, have the chance to give the students and the staff of our district what we truly deserve and have longed for: a trusted leader that fully understands the needs of today's students and genuinely cares for our entire community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jody Bonner, and I'm a staff member at Riverview. I'm reaching out to each of you as a final plea to choose to hire Christy Pro as our next superintendent. We understand that prior to initially selecting Dr. Gould, the views were mixed, and regrettably, many of the staff members felt we didn't need to speak up as loudly because we counted on the board to know what we all knew, that Christy had earned this chance. Well, now you all know that a majority of the staff, 96% of certified staff members, knows that Christy is who should be leading our district. Christy is arguably one of the strongest and most respected central office administrators we have ever had in the past 20 years. She knows us all, has taken the time to get to know the staff. She always shows up, whether to be a presence in the community or to support the staff. She is a listener and a problem solver. In this time of uncertainty in education, she has been at the front line, working alongside us, whether tackling this new state mandates such as the science of reading or supporting the ever-growing need for mental health awareness for students and staff. We have seen as a staff in just a few short months, she has been the interim superintendent, the shifts she is making in our district that were long overdue. And that is before she's even been given the job. We know she has big plans when it comes to staff accountability and financial responsibility, and already is a huge part of our community. There is no one in this town that knows what the students, staff, and community need for our schools more than the people who have dedicated their lives to serving. We know that the board wishes to see change, but please don't mistake the need for change to mean not Christy. Her and Tom are very different in a lot of ways, and most of those ways are the ways you want to see change. Our staff is second to none. Our administrators are second to none. I understand you want change, but not at the expense of our staff and administrators, and in turn, our students. We urge you to listen to the voices of the people in our district. The majority of the certified and classified staffs, the administration, central office personnel, the mayor, city council, Rotary Club, chambers, and quite honestly, a majority of the community, and give Christy Pro the chance to prove that she is the right person for this job.
My voice is going to crack like no other. This is the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done, but the staff deserves this. My name is Dana Gregoro. I'm a teacher in a different district and a parent of 2 students here in Stow. I would first and foremost like to say thank you to all the teachers and staff for all you do for the students of Stow and for making your voice heard in a very respectful way. I 100% trust the teachers and staff here. They do what is best for the students. They know what the students need, and they go above and beyond for them. I've been fortunate enough to have personal experiences for my kids with many of them. Mrs. Eckert and Miss Nichols gave both my kids great foundations for learning. Miss Blackwell got my 3rd grader when he was in 3rd grade through the COVID year of shutdown. Miss Conkle, Miss Pylan, Miss Nixon all helped navigate the hybrid year for my son and were there for him when he lost his grandfather and his aunt within a 3-week span. Mrs. Funai, Mrs. Knepp, Mrs. Bogman, Mrs. Gillespie, who got my son to try new activities and to open up his mind in the awkward intermediate school years. Mrs. Angeli, who made multiple phone calls home this year to me just to give kudos to my kid. I guarantee that there are many more thank yous for parents in this district for the teachers and staff, and there are many other names I could have named. Ms. Pro is trusted and respected by the vast majority of this staff, and it looks like that is a mutual feeling back to the staff from her. That respect and trust is something that cannot be bought. That is earned, and it is far more valuable than anything on a resume. Board members have stated they have the best interest of the kids and staff, and it is time to prove it. Listen to your staff. Thank you.
My name is Mike Eckert. I teach 8th grade math at Kimpton. I regret that the process has reached this point somehow, but I want to appeal to the 5 of you, all of whom have put your trust in me and my ability to teach math, to at least one and in some cases several of your children. The last 3 superintendent searches did not come at a time when a succession plan was already in place. This particular succession was so easy and apparent to so many, it's no wonder that there was such shock and disappointment when it appeared that the board might turn away from it. I need to address the unfair and unfounded assumption that supporters of Christy Pro are somehow against progress. The opposite is true. Teachers believe Christy is progress because of the progress she's managed to make in such a short time as the head of this district. She has professional development plans and curricular purchases in place ahead of the new state science of reading requirement with built-in flexibility, as she knows all too well the state's tendency to fly the plane before it is built, something that she is always careful to avoid. She's instituted monthly meetings with STA officers and building reps to help fix a previous disconnect with STA leadership and upper administration. More fires are put out here before they spread than under any administration we've had in 2+ decades. Every big question made in education comes down to one that we ask daily, multiple times while making big decisions, and always revisit the question afterwards. What's best for kids? You guys have that in mind. We all have that in mind. What 96% of the teaching staff of this district and 94% of the support staff, and I think it's safe to say the community as well, believes, is that what's best for kids is the continuity and the smoother sailing Christy Pro has already provided in multiple roles in this district. So after all, what is best for kids? Certainly a very impressive resume is, but what about an impressive resume that's been built right here that an unprecedented and overwhelming majority of her employees have supported? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christy Purcell. And first thing I'd like to address is I've never been very speechless many times in my life. However, when I got an email telling me as a United States Marine Corps veteran that I was not allowed or should stand down from my opinion and stand down from speaking up for people that I support in this system, I was left utterly speechless. Not just for me, but for all of the staff and the teachers that support Christy Pro. I defended this country so that we could all have that choice, so that we could all have that freedom. This is not, when I sit in front of the Board of Education, this is not what I want to teach my child, that it's okay to tell people to stand down and to not make like an idiot of yourself or fool of yourself. I want my child to understand that she has rights. She needs to know that. She's a child that I got at 4 from abuse. And Christy Pro and this entire staff in just about every capacity that knows her has supported her through this journey. Christy Pro, when my nephew became homeless this year, earlier in the year, his senior year, looking for a school, looking for a place to live, Christy Pro made it happen. She made it happen. And I can't thank her enough for that support. Not only did she make that happen, but she also would see me in the hall at the high school and ask if I needed anything. And if I needed anything, to reach out, not just to her, but she said, we have a community here. And Christy, she brought the sparkle back to our eyes. Christy Pro brought the sparkle back to this school district. I hope and pray that you see the sparkle. This is not like, this is support, this is passion, this is Christy Pro, and this is her. She is the sparkle in our district, and she has brought so much to us. So I hope that you give her that chance. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike McKeel. I am a 54-year resident of Munroe Falls, and I just completed my 32nd year teaching at Kempton Middle School. An old saying, thank God, an old saying Mrs. Abdu shared with me a long time ago when I started here. Very easy. Team. Together, everyone achieves more. That's us. That's all of us. That's you guys. We have to make this better. We all have to be on the same page. I think we could all agree with that. I really do. I know we all have different means on how to get there. Don't get me wrong. We all have that. That's okay. That is okay. That's awesome. But in all these years, in all the years I've taught, I have not seen this since Ed Vandenbalk was sitting over there as superintendent. I have not seen this. Mrs. Pro has earned the right to run this district. Everything that you would ever teach your child, how hard work, that pays off. What you do, not who you are, what you do, your character, that is what matters. And in the end, if you work hard and you show a person of character, then you will earn what you deserve. Hopefully, by the end of this meeting, I will be working for, and I am excited to be working for, the true leader of this district. I thank you.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Gehring. I live in the city of Stow, and I am a special education teacher here too. And I'd like to share one of the most positive and impactful experiences that I have had with Christy Pro, which was during the COVID pandemic. She was instrumental in diminishing the challenges during the pandemic. She was in constant communication with the CDC, which kept our district apprised of all the ever-changing rules and regulations that occurred during the pandemic. As a classroom teacher, it was imperative for us to keep students and staff safe, as well as providing a stable learning environment. As a special educator, I witnessed the negative impact of online learning and the disruption of maintaining student routines, and Christy played a pivotal role in providing opportunities for my students to be able to learn in person during the fall after the initial pandemic shutdown. This positive impact that Christy had on so many levels across our entire district speaks volumes about her knowledge, her leadership, and her tenacity. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace Doman. I'm a resident and a staff member. From the moment that Christy started in our district, she has been super engaged and focused on supporting staff and students. I teach in one of our special education classrooms and for our Bulldogs who need lots of extra support. And as Director of Special Services, she's consistently involved with our students, and she comes into our classroom, visits them, speaks to them by name, plays with them, and engages with them, which is so important. She's constantly asking if there's anything the students or their families need in order to be successful. And she does the same thing with her staff, ensuring that we have what we need to be most effective in the classroom. We in the special education department couldn't do our jobs without Christy and her support. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Anidra Jones. I'm a parent of a 2021 and 2024 graduate of the Stow-Munroe Falls Schools. I really just wanted to make a comment to the board to say that I guess I'm grateful to you all for doing your job and maintaining your professionalism despite all of this drama and some of the personal and professional attacks that you all have been under in recent times. And I just hope that when you make your vote and you make your decision, that you do think about what's best for the kids, but that you look at both candidates equally and choose who you think is the most qualified. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Angie Ivazi. I'm a parent and a sub in the district. I have a firsthand account of the challenges and joys that our teachers face on a daily basis. I go home after a day of subbing exhausted, and if over 95% of teachers are in favor of pro, I am in favor of pro too. Personally, I can recall during COVID that I had some questions and concerns. I reached out to several people, the board included, and nobody took the time to call me back except Christy Pro. She heard my concerns, answered my questions, and I felt validated and heard. I've heard that same sentiment throughout the district with numerous other parents and staff members alike. As a parent of an upcoming senior and freshman in this district, I trust these teachers more now than ever. I see what they do on a daily basis and that they only want what's best for our children. I hope that you, as the board, also listen to the amazing teachers behind me, just like Mrs. Pro has listened to them and parents like me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Danielle Klush. I really didn't plan on doing this, but I wanted to speak about something. We all talked about how great Chrissy is and what a wonderful person she is. She really is like the best type of people, but I wanted to talk a little more about accomplishments because that's something that you like to hear when you're looking at like a superintendent candidate. So one of the biggest accomplishments that I got to be part of this year was the start of our Achieve unit at Woodland. Yeah, it's a specialized unit for a lot of kiddos with autism. They don't have to have autism to be in our unit, but it's a big factor for it. And before we had this wonderful unit, there wasn't a set place for these kids to go. They were slated for either one school or the other school. They didn't fit in either of these schools. And a lot of times, speaking from working at one of the other schools, they didn't get everything that they needed because other things were going on that were bigger than the little things that they needed. And without Christy, we wouldn't have this great, perfect fit for a big piece of our students. Without her, we wouldn't have this wonderful unit that fits just for them, that they could grow and thrive. And believe me, this year I've seen kids do amazing things that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to do otherwise. Thank you. Okay. I promise to behave myself. I'm Joanne Laparo. Just for everybody who knows, I interviewed for the board seat. Up until this point, everyone's made mistakes. And if we start today with a clean slate, I've never spent 1 minute with Christy. Not one, never spoke to her, never talked to her. I have gone by all the things I've heard in this district, from teachers, from assistants to, you know, surprisingly, my daughter Coley, her favorite teacher is here, Mr. McKeel. She loves him. She asked me if she could have him again next year for 8th grade, and I told her, well, you'd have to ask him yourself. I doubt he'd say no, because she's very persuasive. What we teach our kids is, listen, you make a mistake, you own it, and you fix it. The board has made mistake after mistake after mistake, maybe not on purpose, maybe in hindsight 20 is 20, but you all have the time and the thoughtfulness now to fix it, to do the right thing, to listen to what everybody's saying. You pick the wrong thing, I can't even explain how this district is going to feel if you all don't do the right thing. So I'm hoping that you'll take a step back, think about what has happened over these last few months, realize that it was an absolute debacle, take ownership of that, and do the right thing and hire Christy. And I think everybody in this room would be thrilled to have her. I've not heard anything other than that. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Justin Summers. I teach down the road at the high school. First of all, thank you guys for what you do. Okay, you're taking a lot of criticism, praise, both directions, but you don't have to do this. So thank you for putting yourself out there and doing this. My path to being a teacher is a little different than most. I spent 20 years in the military. I'm still jumping out of airplanes quite a bit. Actually, I left work to come here a little early. Currently doing an investigation, but that's on that side. The reason I say that is in the 20 plus years in the military, I've seen a lot of leaders. I've seen good, I've seen bad. I've worked for a lot of generals, a lot of stars, and coming here just a few years ago, meeting Miss Pro, she's a great leader. She has gone out of her way to talk to me, just some guy that came out of nowhere. And she's very personable. In seeing other leaders, there's different types. There's types that are very mission oriented. All they care about is getting the mission done. Screw the people. That is not Christy by any stretch of the means. She looks you in the eye. She pays attention. She gives a genuine, I care about you. You don't get that a lot, especially at the level that she's at. She's at a general, in my eyes, level. And she has that. She has that ability to have a fire over here and give you the attention that you need. Thank you very much. That's why I'm pro. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Dave Segan. I've had an opportunity to work with many of you in different capacities in town. I'm here tonight as a business owner, 2 businesses in town, a parent in the district, the president for many, many years of the Stow-Munroe Falls Chamber of Commerce is who I'm representing tonight. Many of the feedback you've heard tonight was from faculty and staff, so I thought it'd be nice to give a different perspective from what the community and businesses are talking about. And what's interesting is we sent this letter to each of you, but for the record tonight, I am just going to read it publicly. On behalf of the Stow-Munroe Falls Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, we are writing you to wholeheartedly 100% endorse Kristen Pro as the next superintendent of our esteemed school district. Her unwavering commitment to our community, dedication to the truth and transparency, and vision for the success of the school district make her the ideal candidate to lead our schools forward, particularly regarding the school facilities plan, which I have also sat on that committee for over 5 years. She is the right choice. Her roots in this community and her extensive involvement in various capacities have demonstrated her genuine commitment to the well-being, not only to the success and most importantly of our students, but to the families and members of this community. Her track record of ensuring truth and transparency over the last couple months when it comes to financial responsibility and accountability to ensure that our taxpayer dollars are allocated efficiently has been second to none compared to where we came from. Her leadership in this area has been instrumental in guiding that planning committee, and without her taking over, the last 5 years' work would have been gone. Great communities have great schools, and they attract and retain businesses who bring employees, young families, and growth into our city. Your decision will demonstrate your commitment to our community, its businesses, and the economic development that goes with it. Consistency builds trust. Kristen's emphasis on collaboration with our business community and our partners has been second to none. Her ability to forge strong partnerships, which is a pillar to the Chamber's success when I took over, was to align our business community, our city, and our schools under one working mission. We hope, in conclusion, and I urge the Board of Education to do what is right. Not only have you heard from our faculty, our staff, our parents, and I'm standing here tonight in front of you representing over 400 businesses that have wholeheartedly endorsed Christy as our next superintendent. I know this decision was not easy. I trust that you'll make the right one and put our students and community first. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Mike Daniels. All of you know me. I was going to come up and say everything that the teachers and staff have already said and say everything that Mr. Segan said. I think he kind of hacked my computer and took all of my comments because I was going to focus on community and family. But I'd first like to congratulate Antoinette for her appointment. I hope everyone in Stow and Munroe Falls gives her the chance to show how insightful, intelligent, and reasonable she is. And having served with her on several boards and councils, that's been my experience with her. So kudos to Antoinette on the appointment. Please do the right thing. The Daniels family has me, a teacher in another district, and 2 students, one who's a graduate of Stow-Munroe Falls, and our whole entire house is Christy Pro. She's awesome. I think she'll do what needs to be done for the district, and I think she can help move us forward and get those buildings that we so desperately need. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to sit up here and read you the riot act or,
theatrics. Just go, Chris.
My name is Cressa Holt, and I've worked for the school district for 22 years. I am also a resident and a parent. My daughter just graduated, and I have a son entering 6th grade. I did not plan to speak tonight, but I couldn't not. I wanted to tell of a personal situation and issue where Mrs. Pro helped our family tremendously. My son is biracial. He experienced racism in our Stow neighborhood where other children would not play with him. One particular neighbor was worse than most. I was very shocked to know that she had been employed by the district in my child's school. And I could not fathom that my son would have to go to school and experience the same thing that he experienced at home. I reached out to Mrs. Bro, and when I say she took immediate action, she took immediate action. And I will be forever grateful to her for that. I have worked for Mrs. Pro for 7 years directly. I would never say that I worked for her. I would always say that I work with her. She has led this district and been the leader for far longer than her interim title was given to her. She has the utmost respect of the staff and the community, and she is more than qualified to continue to lead us. Thank you.
Are there any more comments?
I have one. Hi, my name's Robin Turner. I was born and raised in Munroe Falls, was a graduate of the high school. I think before we actually called it Stow-Munroe Falls High School. I actually don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. We pulled our child from Stow-Munroe Falls City Schools last year, our last kiddo. She goes to a private school on one of those vouchers that one of my fellow Stow residents talked about. That is part of what is concerning to us as citizens of Stow, of people leaving the district but living here because we love it here and we love the businesses. The teachers are amazing, but I'm excited, and I fully came here tonight just getting ready to say, well, I've been in corporate America for almost 30 years, and sometimes when things don't work, it's always better to have a fresh perspective. I've done a lot of research on both of your front runners here, and I just want to say that what excites me about the passion that I've heard in the room tonight from your staff here in the district is that I'm confident no matter what the outcome is, and I've only been back for 2 years. We were gone from Stow for 4.5 years, and we came from what you would consider the cream of the crop in Olentangy down in Columbus, but we came back to be near family. And we planned on, having my daughter graduate from Stow. So we live in Stow. We're proud to be in Stow. And I'm excited to see, and if it is you, I'm real excited because my son is now almost 22 and he is autistic. And boy, oh boy, could we have used somebody here in Stow when he went to the high school briefly before we moved. I'm in awe of the things that you've done for the community, just in the little bit I've heard and what I've read about you. I'll be following it. I also can appreciate the positions that you have. Welcome to the board, Antoinette. I know you personally, and I know you will be true to the role and do a great job. So it's not an easy job for any of you sitting up here. And I think that's something that no matter what happens, as a resident and somebody who believes in the community and believes the school district can be what it was and can be again when I was here a long time ago, I'm excited to see what happens next because I can feel the passion in the room, and I know we have a strong teaching force that's going to make the district proud no matter what the outcome is come this fall. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Valerie Burkeen. I've gone over and over in my head what I wanted to say tonight, and it's changed a million times even just sitting here this evening. But I feel very compelled to make a statement because I am the proud mom of a Stow-Munroe Falls 2024 grad. Dr. Wind had the amazing opportunity to hand her diploma. And she's the reason I really want to say something tonight, because people in this room are the reason that my daughter's inspired and motivated to become an educator. She wants to be a special education teacher, and I would love nothing more than for her to be proud enough of the district that she graduated from to want to come back and teach here. And with everything that's been going on, that's not the feeling I have for her future, and I hate that for her. So my request of you as a board is transparency. I don't want to disagree with you. I want to understand you. I want to understand the decisions that are made, and that comes through transparency and honest and open communication. And I want to support the teachers in this district. And when they're telling you that this is what they need and how they feel that they need to grow, they 100% have my trust in that decision, because I trusted them for 13 years with the most precious beings in my life. And although my son chose a road outside of Stow, it wasn't because of the teachers here. It was because that's what he needed. But Stow is what has led my daughter to be the amazing person that she is. And this district deserves teachers like her in the future because of the teachers that we've had. So I just beg that you listen to these teachers and fulfill their desire for pro. Thank you.
Who here votes for pro?
Are there any other comments? This is last call. All right. At this point, we appreciate everybody who showed up, and we do appreciate your comments. And we want to take some time as a board, as is outlined by state law. There are only 7 reasons that a school board or any administrative body can go into executive session, and one of them is for personnel reasons. So for that purpose, I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. There it is. For the purpose of considering the employment of a public employee. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Yes. No, I have a question. According to our agenda, we are supposed to be at a contract vote.
No, we have executive session first.
The board could go into an executive session at any time.
It would not be appropriate after such impassioned comments to just go into a vote. I think the comments that we heard is deserving of consideration and discussion as a board, and then we will come back and vote.
Yes, I would like the chance to talk about it, deliberate, reflect.
Yes, thank you. All right. Okay, roll call.
Roll. Wind.
Aye.
East Jenkins.
Aye.
Sheehan.
No.
Suadonic.
Yes.
Benzel.
Yes. Okay, we are in executive session at 6:55. There will be action after this, and we will be back.
It's 6:53. Thank you.
All right, we are out of executive session at 7:33 or 7:34 p.m.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Dr. Gould as superintendent effective August 1st, 2024, and approving the 3-year contract of employment for such appointment.
Second.
Hey, Barry, Officer Smith, thank you. Great. Questions or comments?
I'm sorry, who was the first and second?
First and second.
Thank you.
I actually have a comment. This has been really difficult because I have worked with Christy Pro and I know what she's capable of. But once I got here and realized that there had been a contract offered to Dr. Gould on the 29th of April, and we've been doing this for a month and could have avoided it, unless we want a lawsuit, we need to execute the contract. Now, if you're asking me, there's no fault. And if you're asking me,
Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to talk over people. There's a contract that's been in place. It should have been executed on May 6th, and that is why we are here doing it today. Now, it is a shame that it has been a month that this has happened, but that is the reality of what this is. It's nobody's fault. It just is what it is.
I want to make a comment on that. The contract was negotiated. It was never offered. It was never agreed upon by the board.
No, actually, that's not correct. The contract was negotiated between Mrs. Excuse me, I would like to speak.
We need to hold our meeting, please.
No, this is a meeting that is conducted in public. It is not a public meeting. This is a business meeting of the Board of Education. We will ask Officer Smith to please remove anybody that continues to be disruptive. Thank you.
Did you want to finish?
Officer Smith, can you please remove people that are disrupting this?
I'll finish when it's quiet.
Yep.
Barry, please. Our public comment section is over.
There's been a contract negotiated between President Brown and Dr. Gould ever since the week that we had our deliberation. The way that it becomes official is by having a vote on the contract, and that is what we plan to do on May 6th. It was pulled from the agenda, but there still must be action taken on that contract. That is a fact that we cannot change, whether people speak or not, and whether we believe it, whether we are listening to you or not, that contract exists. So that's just a fact that has to.
We need to discuss it before we can vote. I have a few things that I would like to say if you were done for now. Okay, I didn't want to cut you off. We have heard from dozens of community members and teachers how appreciative they have been of the change from our previous superintendent to Christy Pro. She is a personable, hard worker. A lot of folks have said that she was kind of already doing the job, plus her other jobs. She is a very hard worker. We have heard all of that, We have heard from people who say, I interacted in the special education realm, which Christy supervised and then was in charge of as an assistant superintendent, who appreciate her work as an assistant superintendent, right? We have heard folks who find her much more available than our last superintendent. And I will say, when I was a community member before I ran for this board, I never got an answer from our previous superintendent. It was always Christy who got back to me. That has not gone unnoticed. It has not gone unheard. I have very much appreciated her willingness to step up during this time as interim. And yet, where to be?
Officer Smith, please.
At the same time, we engaged in a search to attract a wide variety of candidates for our superintendent. And our charge in making that search was to pick the individual who would best meet the district's needs. And we sat down and we agreed as a board of 5, the previous 5, on what qualities we wanted in a candidate. And we deliberated for hours and took into account a lot of things. And those personal experiences with Ms. Pro are a piece of it, and they were a piece of it. I will not argue with anyone's personal story of Christy showing up, right? She has shown up. And we were looking for a superintendent who has very strong leadership capacity, who has the capacity to envision and to work toward that vision every single day. We were looking for someone with the experience and the seasoning that is required for a district of this size. We were looking for someone who was prepared to take on this position. And we were looking for someone who was prepared to help with our push toward improving our facilities. And when it came down, I'm sorry, a commenter asked to understand. I am attempting to explain. Okay. I'm asked for an explanation. I try to give it. I would appreciate some decorum. When it comes down to it, Dr. Gould has more education, has 10 years of central office experience after well over a decade of administrative experience. She has worked on facilities projects, multiple facilities projects. She has checked off all of those boxes. That's all I have to say.
Let me comment here. First of all due respect to Ms. Wynn, that is very condescending to Christy to speak of her that way. You are making a big assumption on what Christy thinks, what she's done, how she feels. So I'm very embarrassed for that. Wait, it's my turn to speak. As far as during the negotiation, I saw, and I will say, I listen. I don't speak a lot. I can take in a lot more by listening. And what I saw is someone that you were infatuated with for things that, well, frankly, she's never accomplished anything. She's coming from 2 failing school districts. She has all of the credentials. And her presentation was about things that might happen. When I look at what we have in place are things that are happening. I believe this is a step backwards. I'm embarrassed for the board. I think this voting hasn't happened, but I see a lot of difficulty ahead.
I would like to add, I think that maybe I would ask from the community to stop and think what you're doing to Christy Pro, because she didn't ask for all this either.
Well, wait a minute. Another one, very condescending. If Christy has those feelings, let her express those.
Can we just move?
Very.
Folks, if I can speak about that, I know we're frustrated, but please, we need to respect the process right here. So I appreciate it. So if you can just kind of hold your comments, I would appreciate it.
Any further comments? Okay, roll call, please.
East Jenkins,
Aye.
Sheehan,
No.
Suedonik,
Aye.
Wind,
Aye.
Benzel,
No. Okay. Dr. Gould will receive the appointment as our new superintendent effective August 1st. At this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
East Jenkins,
Aye.
Sheehan,
Aye.
Suedonik,
Aye.
Wind,
Aye.
Benzel.
Aye.
Adjourned at 7:46 p.m.